Hello. Until this man became a governor, he never worked for government. And after he left government as a governor, he disentitled himself of any government benefits. This particular quality stands him out amongst all ex-governors. This man's vast wealth was built from successful businesses he set up, applying a set of quality leadership principles. Peter Obi is one billionaire who lives like a thousandaire. Let me quote one of the things he once said. Peter Obi once said, and I quote, "If you are rich in a poor country, you are a poor man." You see, Peter Obi's principles are a core mandate for anybody who seeks to be a leader at any level, a leader of any organization. I call those principles Obi's Leadership 101. But who is a leader? A leader is a person who has a set of people following him or her. The followership can be formal or informal. It can be formal as in corporate organizations. It can be informal as in social relationships. Now, this definition applies all the way to the family level. Whoever is a leader must from time to time look back. They must look back. If nobody is following you and you are a leader, you are merely taking a walk. Yes, a leader can be abandoned. Many leaders have been abandoned by their followers. They occupy what I call discredited thrones. Now, let's examine some of the principles, the leadership principles of Peter Obi, as much as time will allow in this video. Watch.
Whenever I go to place and they say that I should lecture, I tell them the job of those of us who want to serve is not to lecture but to listen. A leader must be a listener. Like I've said before, we voted tribe, we voted religion, now let's vote competence so we can start solving our problem.
You see, to be a successful leader, you must listen to your followers. The followers will follow you to the extent that you do for them what they desire. Now, how can you know what the followers want if you do not listen to them in the first place? The mistake of many leaders is that they are detached from the people they claim to lead. That is one of the problems confronting Nigeria today. Watch.
The president should stop touring outside Nigeria and use the remaining 2 years to tour the Nigerian states. Mr. President, you have already made over 30 international trips, spending over 150 days outside Nigeria. If you tour Nigerian states an average of 2 days each, it will only be about 72 days, which is half of the time you spent outside on foreign trips. You must then go around Nigeria to see for the first hand what your citizens are going through. It is time to stop governance by remote control.
You see, it goes back to what we said previously. A leader being detached from the people they lead. You see, the current Nigerian leader likes to jet out of the country at will. He has done very few, if any, official visits at all to the people he leads. You know what? The reason Jesus Christ allowed himself to become a human being like us, the reason Jesus Christ allowed himself to be born by a woman just as we were, the reason Jesus Christ lived on this earth was so that he could feel the feelings of the mankind he came to save. In fact, the Bible says that was the only way he could qualify to be an effective leader. A leader must feel the feelings of the people. Watch.
People want to get up and see a president that cares, a president that shows compassion. Says today we have a country without compassion. Leadership without compassion doesn't exist. In December 18th or thereabout, several children died in a battle. On the 19th, the president of Nigeria flew from Abuja to Lagos for Christmas holidays. Say, no, I will not do it.
Yes, compassion is an important qualification of effective leaders. It is what draws the followers after the leader. Compassion is putting yourself in the place of another person. Compassion is wearing the shoes of another person. The followers want to know that their leader is one of them and not just a privileged taskmaster set over them. They want to know the leader has their backs. Here is the thing. During the 2023 political campaigns, heavy floods hit the nation, several parts of the nation. Peter Obi was one of the first people to hire a chopper and fly over affected zones. Peter Obi called on all contestants to suspend their campaigns in order to deal with the emergency. Obi says, and I quote, "It gives me pleasure to serve people." I have seen a video in which Peter Obi was serving coffee to a visiting journalist, not a house girl, not a houseboy. You know, his attitude reminds me of what Jesus once said. Jesus said, anyone that seeks to be a leader must begin as a servant. And that is what this man exemplifies all the time. Watch.
I will appoint competent persons with capacity and compassion for good of Nigeria. People that are worthy of emulation. So I'm not going to be minister of petroleum like it's been. Every ministry will have substantive minister who is competent, who has the character, compassion, and capacity to run that ministry. But show you the things that as president, I will have hands-on reported to me daily or real time.
Here it is. A leader must supervise his subordinates. His subordinates are his co-leaders. If a leader does not supervise his subordinates, his leadership is headed to failure. Obi says he demands real-time daily feedback from his subordinates, daily feedback on the performances of his subordinates. In fact, I say in one of my books that most leadership failures are actually supervisory failures. To be successful, a leader must constantly inspect what he expects from his or her subordinates. Setting up a leadership team and jetting out frequently out of the country is a bad supervision strategy. Like Obi said, you cannot lead by remote control. It doesn't work. How could a female petroleum minister steal so many millions of dollars under the nose of a president? The answer is simple. Lack or poor supervision and lack of accountability on the part of the subordinates. Leaders who leave subordinates to do what they like have themselves to blame. Watch.
I campaigned on removal of subsidy. Remember, but I said, one, there's a corruption associated with the subsidy that you need to remove first. It was done in a disorganized manner. So everything is about organization. There's a corruption associated with it that you need to remove first to know the actual subsidy and organize how you can gradually deal with whatever is remaining, and people must have to see the alternative. So when this government removed subsidy, do you know what they said? They said is to stop borrowing to sustain it. But this government has borrowed more than the government of Jonathan, Buhari put together. As at the time Buhari left, our debt was about 80 trillion. Today we're almost 180 trillion.
Here again, a leader must show competence. A leader must be a clear thinker. You see, competence with clear thinking is a primary requirement of a leader. Otherwise, they should get out of that place. That is what qualifies them to lead in the first instance. Leaders should have the capacity to develop strategies for achieving group goals before they take any action. Otherwise, they will be like the blind leading the blind, leading them in a dark alley. That's the problem we face in Nigeria today. No one understands exactly what Tinubu wants to achieve. No one. Other than his mouthing of a renewed hope agenda. What is renewed hope? Is renewed hope a goal? Watch.
I want strong opposition parties. Even, let's say I'm president today in one party, I want strong PDP. I want a Labour. I want strong APC. I want to listen to them. I want to see democracy thrive. I want people to understand. I want to listen to the opposition because they might have an idea that is superior to what I have.
Now, perhaps the greatest pitfall of many bad leaders is their desire for praise and more praise. They want to hear only the things that are sweet to their ears. As a leader, and I don't care what level of leadership you operate from, if all you get from your subordinates and from the people is praise and worship, I put it to you, you are an endangered species. It reminds me of some leaders of recent history, men like Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, Hosni Mubarak of Egypt, Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe, Nicolae Ceausescu of Romania. These are leaders who joined their ancestor in King Herod of the Bible to come down under the weight of flattery. False praise is flattery. It destroys. If all you get from the followers, from the people, is praise and praise and praise, you are headed for a fall. Even Jesus Christ demanded feedback on his leadership. You know what? One day, he was with his disciples. Suddenly he stopped and he posed this question to them. Tell me, who do men say that I am? You see, the answer Jesus got surprised him. But beyond the surprise, it helped him to readjust his salvation message for effectiveness. We can go on and on, but you see, we must stop here to avoid making this video too long. So what do you think of Peter Obi's Leadership 101 lessons? I want you to like and share these lessons. But beyond that, let's have your comments. And don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next episode.